And we are live. GMGAG, everybody. Welcome to what's going to be another great DevNTell. So if you didn't know, DevNTell is a 30-minute window for builders to showcase something they're passionate about or been working on in Web3. It's going to be an awesome project you've been working on, demonstrating and testing best practices, automation goodies, smart contracts, how to structure a project, etc. Basically, if you have a passion for something, this is your opportunity to share with the community. And today I'm ecstatic to have back on Quay and Luke. Welcome, boys. Happy to have you back on here. And they will be showing us the latest developments with the Koinos Account Protocol, or CAP. I guess before we get into introductions and all, I just want to make a brief announcement to folks who are watching live. So at the end of the show, we're going to be presenting two different forms for you to fill out. One form will be to claim your NFT for being an attendee on the Developer DAO DevNTell today. And then the second is a giveaway that Luke and Quay have graciously offered up for Developer DAO members exclusively to be able to claim a username up to $100 worth for everybody who's watching live today. So you'll definitely want to stick to the end, which is where I'll be showing those QR codes, and you'll have an hour after the show ends to claim those. But we'll get back into that at the end. Right now, let's start with introductions here. Quay and Luke, pleasure to have you back on here, guys. Maybe we want to start just briefly, if folks didn't catch you the last time, kind of some background about both of yourselves. How you got into Web3, what you guys do at CAP.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'll start. So thank you for having us back on here. If you guys were here last time, we were talking about Burn Coin, which is a mining pool for the Koinos blockchain running proof of burn. At this time, we're coming back with something way more cool. But first, a little bit about me. If you don't know who I am, my name is Quay, and I'm actually a structural engineer in the city of New York. I do a lot of structural engineering work, but I have a big passion for blockchain and Web3. And I've worked now in this space for, I don't know, quite some time now, I guess, whether it's working or just being interested. But I'm focusing a lot of my time on building on the Koinos blockchain. I really believe where we're going with this one, especially with CAP. And in today's video, today's little meeting here, we're going to talk to you exactly how we think that we can onboard the next 1 million users legitimately.
Yeah, I'm Luke Willis. I'm a developer by trade. I've been doing a lot of web development for the past decade. Past 2 years, I've really gotten into crypto and spent a lot of time on Koinos, building smart contracts and dApps there. Like last time we were on here for Burncoin, but today excited to talk about CAP, which is kind of the biggest thing that we've built and are still working on. So excited to share it with you.
Awesome. Yeah. And my pleasure to have you guys back on. Let's get right into it. I will add the content to the screen here.
All right.
Also, I just want to say one thing actually before we start. I always bring this up, but for anybody out there, developer community trying to build dApps, I've actually never met Luke. I met him solely online, and we've just been providing value to the Koinos blockchain. And we kind of just teamed up together because he runs a Coin Press podcast, and I was with the community, providing as much value as I can, making YouTube videos about it. And so there is a path for people who are not developers.
It's true. Yep. And I would not be able to do exactly what I'm doing without Quay. So even if you are a developer, it's good to have an additional perspective and somebody who complements your skills. So
Likewise.
All right. So CAP, Koinos Account Protocol. We'll get into like what that is and how it works, but we want to really kickstart this with a question. And that is, what if, put your thinking cap on, let's go big here. Everybody knows ENS, and ENS is great, right? If you have a .eth name, you probably wear it proudly on your Twitter account, or X as it is now. But that experience of minting and managing your ENS name, it's really designed for crypto native people, right? You already have a wallet, you already have ETH, you already know basically what you're doing, you're familiar with transactions and everything there. But what if ENS was really designed for the normal people who don't have a wallet full of tokens yet? So this is kind of the place that we started at with for CAP. And really we said, what would need to happen in order to make it extremely accessible to anybody so that you could share ENS with your friends, and it could be their first place that they go to in Web3. So we said, well, what if ENS was free to mint, right? You don't need tokens to pay for it. Well, there's still kind of that nasty little gas element. So what if the gas was paid for you, right? So now all you really need is a wallet. You don't need to have any tokens. You can just interact with the dApp. That's cool. But part of the problem for people new to crypto is that everything is kind of disjointed, right? You know, the benefit of having portable tools and products that you can interact with and really just use one wallet across multiple services is great, but it's unfamiliar. So having a place where people can really manage their account, set up security tools, you know, review things they've done. For a lot of people, that's the wallet, but we think ENS is really a good spot for that because it's your name, right? You're managing your name, you're managing your account. Let's keep those connected in the same way they are in Web 2. You know, carry over that system. And then just because you have a name doesn't mean you can actually do anything on the blockchain. So what if we then also paid gas for you to use other dApps just because you have an ENS name? Now, that would be cool. And we were really excited about that. But it's not particularly tenable on Ethereum because that would be expensive to operate, right? Paying gas for everybody to use any dApp would not cover the cost of minting the name, let alone if it's free.
I think ENS was a very, very good system when it first came out. And I think a lot of people really enjoyed it, which is why we see replicas of ENS everywhere. They solved an obvious problem. Human readable names was an issue. And so copying the base of ENS was a very, very, looked forward to thing on every single blockchain. There's a version of ENS on everything.
Right. Yeah. And every blockchain wants to have those human readable names. You know, ENS really set the standard there. And we love ENS. We think it's a great service. And that .eth has a lot of name recognition and brand value that is not to be taken for granted. So for CAP, this is kind of our take on ENS applied to the Koinos blockchain, which, if you're not familiar, is a newer blockchain. The mainnet launched in November of last year. Just got a DEX. Things are moving along, but it's a brand new blockchain effectively. So compared with the history and ubiquitousness of Ethereum, it's just getting started. So
there's also another thing I want to add there is that with new blockchains, as long as they have some unique value proposition, it's not just one small shift, there's a huge opportunity out there. Yeah. And so, with Ethereum, obviously cryptography works really well. The public key, private key pair works really well. Yeah. And so that's why human readable names became a thing on there. And so when you launch another blockchain, such as Koinos, that doesn't have human readable names, it became obvious that there's an opportunity to provide that service. Again, ENS proved it on Ethereum, and we're going to take that success and amplify it by asking those 3 questions we had asked earlier. What if we could provide gas for users? What if the name service could also give people access to dApps? What if you could do tokenless access? And all of these things kind of summarize what we have here and what our version of ENS improved is.
Yeah. So CAP is just the ENS concept applied to kind of the ethos and design of Koinos. So general rule of thumb is if you're copying another dApp, don't stop there, right? Go bigger. Think something more you can do and apply it to the specific context that you're building in. So CAP has 3 pillars. The name service is the one you're familiar with. That's basically a copy of ENS. We have some difference in how we price things, but that's what it is. We're also doing some work with smart wallets, which is a lot like account abstraction. We'll get into that in a minute. And then tokenless access, letting anybody access the blockchain without holding their own tokens. So
let's talk about name service for a bit here. This one's super simple. I think everyone who goes into blockchain that are brand new, they'll quickly realize, why is there this really long address? And what does it mean? Why can't I define myself? Why can't I change the password? And that's just because the public key and private key pair, just the way cryptography works, and it's been very, very successful with Bitcoin. And so human readable names came along, and the concept was to put a layer on top of this address and give somebody a name. And so here we have something on the left that's very easy to read, loop.coin. And on the right is what you have with typical non-human readable names. This is what you would get default on Ethereum, on Koinos as well. And so you have the easy and not so easy. We all know this works. Great. Let's copy it and let's improve it by adding on to the next pillar.
So the next element is smart wallets. So if you're familiar with account abstraction, the ERC 4337, it's a cool system, but even as a developer, I can say it's semi-complicated. So you really have to dig in and spend a lot of time getting to understand how that all works. And then just understanding it isn't enough. You now need to build an account abstraction and deploy the smart contracts. And there's a lot to do there that is not exactly straightforward. So smart wallets on Koinos are a native feature where any wallet can actually have a contract uploaded to it. So rather than contracts going to their own addresses that you don't hold the private keys to, you retain the private keys. And so when you're using a wallet, it could have a smart contract or not, and it'll still work either way. So when you upload a smart contract to your wallet, you can override like your ability to upload a new one. So now it's immutable. You can override your ability to do a couple other things as well. But the general idea is that by using that existing system in Koinos, we don't need to go through the account abstraction complication. We can just give you features like social account recovery and multi-sig and token vaults and subscription management, which is one that I'm particularly excited about, where we could let you like auto renew your cap names or any other subscriptions, where we could just be authorized to pull a specific number of tokens out of your account at a specific date in the future, right? So things like that allow us to give you better functionality and the ability to manage more security, privacy, and what your wallet can do beyond kind of the default behavior. So yeah, that's what smart wallets are.
I also want to add that this is also not something that is new. Smart wallets has been an idea on Ethereum for a very long time, but it becomes very difficult to enable because of externally owned accounts. You have to perform a consensus level change to Ethereum in order to enable account abstractions. And so there's all these workarounds to try to like alternate mempools to try to improve the idea of smart wallets. So then you have other blockchains out there that have actually already enabled smart contracts for all accounts. So again, we're using systems that have already been solved, but they're being solved in a way where they're on one blockchain. And I think the most important thing is going to be our next pillar. That's kind of what ties it all together. With name services that's been enabled in ENS, with smart contracts, smart wallets that can be enabled in Koinos, we have our third pillar, and that's tokenless access. Now, I think tokenless access is something that is a new phrase being thrown around, and people are saying, hey, that's kind of crazy. But we have this thing on Koinos that's called Mana, and it's one of the principal things that CAP uses and leverages to enable to an ecosystem where people can have CAP names and use the blockchain without any tokens, and they can also do it free. And so we have this experience on Ethereum where we have to spend tokens in order to get gas and perform transactions. And so we have a gone forever kind of idea. Once you spend down your Ethereum or any other fee-based chain, that's it. It's over, and you have to get more tokens. And furthermore, if you want a system where the dApp they're trying to use, the decentralized application that's trying to pay for your gas, becomes very complicated because on many of these systems that uses fees, it's the person who's committing the transaction that has to pay for it. It can't be someone else. And it's also a very expensive ordeal because of the transaction package itself. So then we said, hey, well, not us, but the Koinos blockchain, with the experience on Steam, said, hey, why don't we just lock someone's token up so they can't move it, they can't sell it for a certain period of time, and that's going to allow them to use the blockchain for free. And now the system allows dApps to pay the Mana cost, and Mana is basically the regenerative version of gas. And so if a dApp is able to cover the Mana cost, what they're doing is locking up their own coin, and they're locking it up, but they're not losing any value. no tokens are actually being transferred, no tokens are being burned, and it just can't move it around. And that period varies from a couple of seconds to 5 days, depending on how much you're actually using. And this entire process allows you to have a cap name, it allows you to access decentralized applications, and allows you to use the blockchain without having any tokens, because you yourself are never actually needing to buy the tokens. And someone else who wants to give you that access is never ever losing any tokens. And that's what we call tokenless access.
That's right. Yeah, we'll get into this a little bit more with the mana station and what we're actually doing to share our mana with you. But the general idea for dApp Pays Mana is just that we are automatically giving you free mana. So whenever you submit a transaction, you just set us as the payer for the mana. So you can think of it the same way. If Ethereum allow you to say this other wallet is going to pay the gas or for my transaction, that's what we're doing here. And then the system for actually approving that is that we have a smart contract that authorizes anybody who has a name to use our mana. So that's what's going on.
Which is why if you get a cap name today, you'll be able, well, we're going to release the mana stations very soon, but you'll be able to use very soon the Koinos blockchain without having to go through the process of exchange and buying tokens, which is why you want to stay to the end.
That's right. All right. So we already talked a little bit about mana, but just to give a little bit more explanation here so it's clear. The mana, you can think of it as a regenerative resource system. So with gas, you spend your ETH, you receive the gas, and you perform your transactions. You can think of that as like buying a health potion in a game, right? Your health is down. The only way to recover is to buy more, right? But where with mana, you lock up your coin, and then you do whatever it is you're going to do, and then it just unlocks a little over time. So this is more like just waiting, right? You're taking cover, and then you're going to heal a little over time. So different designs. They're just two different systems. One is not necessarily better than the other. They both accomplish the same goal, but one is free economically, and instead you're paying with your liquidity. So that's the difference.
I also think that if you're playing these games, right, like when you're spending in-game currency to buy health, there's also a decision-making process there too. Say you're not, especially in the early game, you're not necessarily game currency rich. And so you have to prioritize, maybe I can't buy the health potion because I really want the big sword and I want to be able to play with more aggressive. And so it kind of slows down your pace of the game, which is why you see these health potion type style games in a much slower style RPG kind of game. Whereas if you have something like a first-person shooter, it's a much faster pace. You don't have to think about it. It's almost as if though I have to heal, so I'm going to automatically go and hide so I can take cover and heal slowly. It's much easier on the mind, and that's kind of the mental math that we want to get rid of when it comes to using blockchain. Don't have enough mana? Well, slow down your usage. Come back in a couple of minutes, and then you'll be able to use the blockchain again.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so since this is Developer DAO, we wanted to give a high-level overview of the smart contracts that we have involved for CAP, and just kind of give an idea of the general architecture that we have for the system. So to start off, we have a name service contract, which is basically the one that actually issues the NFTs. And then for our pricing on that, we have premium tiers from 1 to 10 character names. So Luke.coin is $100. Queasy He is $10 a year. And then all the way down to 1 character is $1,000 a year. So it's different depending on how long the name is that you want. But then in Q4 this year, we're going to be opening up any length name, and anything 11 characters or more is just going to be outright free. So that's the plan there. We also have domain contracts, which are rules for subdomains. So where with ENS, you have that .eth, and that's really the only domain. We're set up to enable future custom domains. So .coin is really like our, it's where we're starting, but we expect to open this up in, I think it's early next year, for anybody to come in and use the CAP token to get their own top level name, and then use that to either copy our business model and issue your own subdomains or use it within your dApp and just have, free names for whatever it is you're doing, and have that all work into the existing ecosystem that CAP has built. So if you want name resolution for token transfers on different wallets, if you want, everything else that we build, then that's all going to come for free by using a custom domain under CAP instead of, copying our contracts and having a new system that does basically the same thing. So, which is a valid option as well. All right. And then the third one, which, as Kui said, we're going to be launching here in the next couple weeks. Mana Station has already been built. It is a contract that just pays the mana for anybody who has a name. And then the one thing that we're still working on there is paying mana for all interactions with CAP. So even if you don't have a name yet, you can still mint a name and get in at the beginning. So pretty simple logic for that. Even though that's kind of the one that's Koinos specific, there's not really a direct parallel to what you would do on ETH for contract that does that kind of concept. But it's pretty light in terms of the actual logic there. We do have an Oracle. It's centralized right now, but we pull from a price feed every 5 minutes and then submit a transaction that keeps the price of coin updated. So that way we can price things in dollars instead of in coin. And then the last one we have is profiles, where basically to go with your name, you can also set up your profile, which has your preferred name, if you have an NFT to set up as your avatar, a bio, links, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like your link tree in a decentralized way.
I want to just add a little bit about our USD Oracle. This was actually a pretty important decision process. I know people are developing stuff on, for blockchain, for develop DAO, but there's also a business aspect to this too. And we spent a lot of time wondering if we should price things in coin or price things in USD or really fiat. But we're both in the States, so obviously we're choosing USD here. But what I want to mention is that we think that people still think in dollars in terms of fiat. And when you make things in crypto, the floating price and value of it makes it really challenging to kind of understand what you're really buying and paying for. So we made the choice to make the Oracle. And if you're buying a $10 names, it's $10. It's not, an arbitrary amount of coin value that we made up in the air because we want to capture coin. It's really just based on dollars. And that's an important decision that we felt that we made there.
Yeah, and it's really about who your customers are, right? If you're building on ETH, all of your customers are people who are already using the blockchain, right? They have ETH. They might not think in ETH, but they have it, and they're like they can do the conversion in their head, and that's not a big deal. For us, we're really going after people who are not crypto native, and so putting it in a currency that people can understand who don't know what coin is, we thought that was important.
Also, on our roadmap, we are going to enable credit card purchases of names. And so if you go back a couple of slides, we had free names and premium names. If you want to buy a premium name, which obviously has a shorter name, so the domain of words you can choose to represent yourself is much smaller. And so that makes it more valuable, something that Ethereum obviously proved. If you want to buy those names, we want you to be able to buy them with credit cards. So we will be enabling that. For everyone else who doesn't feel like they need such a short name and they're okay with something longer, we have the premium tier where you can get a name for free. That's going to be released later in the year, but that's for the people, everyone else in the world who doesn't have any coin and doesn't want to pay anything. We have an option for you too, which kind of leads on to the sentence below here. But Luke, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good segue for the business of CAP, which these are just some charts that we pulled, I don't know, a month ago or so for name registrations that we've had so far. So to show you, we've had around 1,000 names minted, and those are all premium tier because we haven't opened up the free tier yet. And so at that level right now, obviously that's 100% premium, but we expect in the future, as soon as we open up the free tier, 90% of our mints are going to be free tier. So our goal is to have 10% premium tier, so that if we can use CAP as a way to bring people into blockchain and using crypto for free, then a certain percentage of those will convert into paying customers. We'll offer some additional services and benefits for people who do have the premium tier. So if we can have a certain percentage of people that care and want a more luxury name, then that's good for us. But right now, with our almost 1,000 names minted, we have $50,000 banked, and since these are annual renewal fees, assuming everybody were to renew, which is not a very good assumption, we'd be making $50,000 a year right now. And so we launched a couple months back, and the majority of these mints were in the first day or two. So things have trickled off while we've been focusing on launching additional features, but with the upcoming launch of free names and starting to market this to people outside of the Koinos ecosystem, we're hopeful that we can attract more and more people into our dApp.
Yeah, I think the next slide actually is something I want to cover real quick. Future use cases, right? So in the last one, we said 90% of people are going to be a free tier and 10% of the premium tier. That's what we're basing our model on. And the reason why is because minting tokens or minting NFTs on Koinos uses mana, not actual gas. So there's no real cost of doing business. What the real part of their business is providing value to people. And I strongly feel that people who build on Koinos, they should be thinking about how to capture value or to capture money through value, by providing value to people and not forcing them to pay small transaction fees. And so if you're a dApp and you think you want to create some application, but you want to capture a lot of users, on Ethereum, you would have to convert those people who are non-blockchain users to become blockchain users. And obviously that has a lot of problems because they have to buy the Ethereum token. But on Koinos, now you have access to a whole host of people who have access to the Koinos blockchain for free without any tokens. And so you have an unlimited pool of potential users available to you. And then you can deploy your business model where maybe you're doing another thing where you're doing 90% of your users are accessing your dApp for free, and the 10% find so much value in your dApp that they're willing to pay you. That's a very common Web 2 model of business. And I think that's going to be one of the most powerful things that Koinos enables. So with future use cases here, we went back and we had said that we had something called top-level accounts. So top-level accounts is the rules in which you can define your subdomains. And so you can come and create a custom top-level account. We have .coin, which is the one we're distributing the main .coin names to. But you can have a custom top-level account, and you can create your own dApp namespace. You can have .dd. You can have .eth if you wanted to on the Koinos blockchain, or .custom, any name you want for your business, and you can define the rules however you like and deploy them to your users however you like.
Yeah, and this really gets to our future strategy here, where right now we're kind of this business to consumer model, but really where we want to be living is B2B. So CAP in and of itself is not really the pull that we want people to come to Koinos, and this is like, okay, I used CAP and now I'm done, right? We want it to be the starting point for you to interact with other dApps. But for you to go and say, oh, I found this really cool game, I want to play it, what do I do now? You either have to go buy coin or go find CAP and set up an account. So now you have mana, right? So we're working to make it easy for dApps to integrate with CAP so that your first and last entry point is the dApp you actually want to use. So you start at the game, and then directly within there, you can choose a username and start using our mana. And then, if you want a premium name in that flow, we'll probably have ways to do that. But free will kind of be the default. And then for dApps, if they want to offer a branded experience and they want it to be a little bit more tight in their own ecosystem, they can get their own custom top-level account, and that will allow them to have, .x or .world or whatever, and and they can issue names that really fall in line with their own brand and aren't quite so dependent on CAP, but can still benefit from our mana and benefit from everything that we offer. So, and
unlike Twitter recently, who took names from people, you can't do that because we're in a decentralized system. So how to say that out there?
Worth saying. All right, so we're going to give a demo here just to show you how CAP is working today on mainnet. And I'm going to look up the name DD Rocks. So since developer DAO rocks, this is just a quick overview of how our dApp works. So as you can see, the pricing here, for a 7-character name, it's $10 a year, and 7 to 10 is 10. Anything 11 characters longer will be free, not available yet. And then shorter names, 4 to 6 is $100, 2 to 3 is $500 a year, and then a 1-character name is $1,000. So, but we're just going to go ahead and grab DD Rocks and check out here. So let me
$10 there with the USD Oracle, pricing it at 15.44 coin.
Right. So you can see here, this is Condor Wallet, which is one that was built for Koinos. And there's a lot of options here for things you can do. I'm going to try this use free mana. I haven't actually done this yet, but basically the Condor developer set it up. Basically what we're going to do for mana stations is offering some of their mana for free. So I still have coin in this wallet where I can pay for the name. But if we use that mana, then we're going to go ahead and mint. So we will check events.
Did assign the payer there or signer?
That's the advanced setting. So if you wanted to add additional signatures, you could, but we don't need to do that. All right. So this is transferring coin and minting the name. So we will go ahead and send that. You see mint transaction submitted.
And all this is not costing you any tokens for fees. You're just paying that straight dollar conversion for $10 worth of coin.
Yep. And now you can see I own ddrocks.coin. So Koinos has a 3-second block time. So pretty quick compared to a lot of chains out there, but you know, not the fastest either, but for our purposes and what we're doing, it's plenty fast. So yeah, so once you have a name, you can view your profile and set it up. So I want to make DD Rocks kind of my default name. If I had an NFT with a picture, I could set that up here as my profile. I can set up a bio. If I want to add social links for any of that, I can. And if I want to set my profile color, then I can do that. And then whatever it is you save here, we have a website at cap.plus where you can view profiles of people who've set up their cap profile. So at a high level, that's what we've done. There is a question about a marketplace for .coin names. There is, and that is collection.app. This is the first NFT marketplace for Koinos. You can see all the different NFT collections that have been deployed. Not a lot of volume right now, but if you're looking for existing names or if you want to sell the one that we give you for free, this is the place to do it. Okay. Speaking of giving away names for free, Kui?
All right, we got a cap giveaway. We got a really, really big giveaway here. And there's actually a bonus. So if you stayed, you're going to get an extra bonus. So if you're a DD member, you attend it live today. It's going to be a form for you to fill out. And you're going to be able to get a cap name that will give you access to the Koinos blockchain for free, worth $100. So choose any characters between 4 and 10. You're going to get that sent out to you. So make sure you fill out that form. But if you're not DD member, you're here on YouTube, you're here on Twitter, you see this video. If you get to this point and you watch this video, make sure you share this on X, Twitter, and tag @capdomains. And you will also get a free name. You will get a free $10 name between 7 and 10 characters. We don't have a deadline on this. We don't have a maximum number we've thought about. We just want to give it away for free. We want you guys to experience the Koinos blockchain. We want you to experience a tokenless world where we launch mana stations in a couple of weeks. So make sure that if you're not a DD member, then you still stay to the end. Get this video, share it on X, tag us, and we'll make sure we reach out and get your contact information to give you a free $10 name.
Yeah.
Beauty. Look at the generosity here, gang. All this value being given away just by staying and watching DevNTell here today. And before we move on to the next slide, if there is a slide, I guess this is a good segue to share that form. So if you're a DD member, please scan this QR code you'll be taken to D-Form, and you'll be given a form to be able to fill out. You'll only be able to fill this form out if you hold at least one DD NFT or at least 400 code, one or the other, signifying your membership in the DAO. And then you will have 1 hour from now to the top of this hour to be able to successfully fill out this form. And once that hour is done, we'll be cutting it off. But as Quay and Luke mentioned, there is another opportunity for you, if you're not a DD member, to share the video on X, tag cap domains, as I said, and you'll get a free name up to $10 value. So one more time, this is the QR code for you to scan for this giveaway. And
I see a question here. Which link should we share? If you're watching this on YouTube, then it's the YouTube link you want to share. If you're not watching this on YouTube, I think what I'll do is I'll end up sharing the YouTube link on my Twitter account and also on the Cap Domains Twitter account, on Luke's Twitter account, and then you can share that link as well. Make sure you just say something about Cap that you liked so we can get a little bit of feedback from you. But either way, you're going to get some free names.
Or anything you don't like. If you have any criticisms or things you thought were stupid, let us know. I'd love to hear that.
Or another good thing is, if you use Burncoin and you want some features on version 2 Burncoin, which we're going to work on, drop some feedback there too.
Yep.
Beauty. That's excellent, gang. And yeah, unfortunately, this brings us to time, but lots of awesome content here, and really looking forward to seeing how Cap evolves and starts to more broadly make blockchains available to average non-techie folks, because that's basically our main user base here, right? Whether we want it to or not, it's not just all super nerds. But yeah, that was awesome. So reminder, so that giveaway only good for up to the top of this hour for DD members. And if you stayed here, we got another one for you, gang. Bang. So this QR code is open for anybody. So if you stayed till the end, this will take you to another form. Sorry for the many forms, but this is the way we're doing things. But this form will let you get your NFT for being a participant today on DevNTell. So fill out this form. Again, the same rules apply. You have up to the top of the hour to fill out this form. And over the next couple of days, you'll be seeing a NFT popping up in your wallets. And potentially, the more of these NFTs you have, the more chance you have to potentially get a code drop at the end of every month. So you'll definitely want to claim these, because there are more perks than just having a cool NFT here. But again,
a lot of free stuff.
A lot of free stuff. We're giving things away here, gang. Like, what else do you want? Content, learning things, and getting free stuff at the end. Love it. But again, thank you so much, Quay and Luke, for coming on. I really appreciate you guys taking the time here. And just want to wish everybody a very happy Friday, happy weekend. And Pablo Garcia says we need to get these Cap t-shirts out in the world. So merch. Yeah.
There's only 2 right now in the entire world.
Yeah.
There's 2 hats and 2 shirts.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, all right, gang. All the best, and we'll catch you all back here next week for DevNTell. Peace.
Take care,
Thank you, Nard. Thanks, everybody.